Are libertarians cutting their own throats? Greetings, America, and all those tuning in from all parts of the globe. You are listening to the Bellicose Nation. Now, today I'm really wound up. Today I'm ready to go. Today we're going to deal with the Ron Paul coalition and why I think, in their unyielding devotion to their high principles of libertarianism, they may be cutting their own throats and throwing away the possibility that their movement holds for the future. Now, it seems to me libertarians will be working against their own interest in either not voting or voting for candidates in 2012 which have no hope or any prayer of winning. With them, it's a strategy of all or nothing. And in this form of government that we're under, that rarely is effective. Now, my warning to my Ron Paul friends is this. The ideology of liberalism has a very short window of time to succeed. And that is because of two demographics which are growing every year in the United States. The more these two demographics grow, the less possible the libertarians or even the GOP will hold anything beyond regional power. Now, the first surging group in this country are those who are working for or directly benefiting from big government. Every year, more people work for the government or work for a company which works for a government, or they gain monetarily from the government. Welfare, free health care, food stamps, corn subsidies, you name it. It goes on and on. Now, these folks are never going to vote libertarian. And it goes against their interest. Why would they? Who's going to vote against their own interest? Now, the second rapidly rising group is the percentage of the population which is minorities. Minorities at a much higher rate vote for the party of big government. 2 and 3 to 1. They are inclined to think government should play a bigger role in our lives, not less. That government should do more, not cut back. You're not going to get their vote. The bigger they get, the smaller you get. Now, between mass immigration from third world countries and millions of illegals here just waiting to be made legal and able to vote, every year your vote has less weight as these two groups, the government group and the minority group, continue to grow. And to be blunt, they are not interested in what you guys are selling. The more these two groups grow, the more impossible it will become to win a majority in a national election. You folks may well put Obama in for another 4 years, and trust me, he is working his little heart out to grow both of these groups for political reasons. Time is not on your side mathematically, folks. Another effect of the Obama re-election is this. Right now, there are 4 Supreme Court justices which are in their mid to late 70s. How many of those slots will Obama fill in the next 4 years? The effect of that will be with us for decades. Even if a libertarian president or a block of representatives were to pass legislation eliminating programs, the Supreme Court, with perhaps at that time 6 Obama appointees, will certainly strike it down as unconstitutional. The libertarian movement has seen extraordinary growth in the last decade or so. They have grown from an inconsequential political idea to a real viable movement. But rather than build on their wins in the election of 2012, I believe they may be cementing their future losses by voting for a candidate they know can't win and perhaps by default re-electing their worst enemy, Barack Obama. Now, should Barack Obama get reelected, that will, without a doubt, close the last opportunity on deconstructing Obamacare. Now, Obamacare, like every other government program, will never end. How many of the thousands and thousands of failed government programs can you name that have ever ended? Doesn't happen, my friends. Obamacare will not only be the window through which government can control you and me like never before, it also sets in stone the idea that the government will decide exactly what's good for you and force you to pay for it on monthly premiums. It also shifts us into higher gear towards the collectivist state. Obama is a collectivist. You put him in office, you're going to get more collectivism at the end to try to fight against. And we will be down that road, and that will be a road which there will be no return. Now, let's take a second and talk about Romney. You're the guy you guys hate so badly. We can all itemize the list of things we don't like about Romney. And believe me, I've had mine. While Romney is no Ron Paul, he can buy you time while your movement grows. That's what you need. His imperfect view of the role of government is remarkably better than Obama's. You are not voting for a lesser evil. You are voting strategically. Now, as I said, the time is short. We are at the point of no return with big government, if we're not past it already. In another 4 years, with Obamacare implemented, it's over, folks. There is no room for a Ron Paul. It's not going to happen. So I say this to my Ron Paul people out there. What I'm suggesting you do is to vote your interest, and that should be to deny Obama 4 more years of embedding collectivism into America. Now, my last point is the voter psychology. And granted, this is speculation, but I think it's well-founded. Now, the libertarian movement emerged from the fringe and grew legs at what point? Under George Bush's era of big government. Why? Because conservative-minded people felt that the GOP was not speaking for them, and libertarianism reaped a handsome reward for this. Now, you reelect Obama, and many are not going to look to you. They're going to look back to the GOP in 2016 and whatever conservative talking head they have on the platform at the time. Okay. On the other hand, should Romney get elected president this time, and he turns out to be the big government guy we all think he may be, you will see mass defections from disenfranchised right-wingers into your camp who have given up on the GOP, as happened before. And that will be giving you an army of support you otherwise will not get from an Obama presidency. Now, folks, I've laid out the case for why a vote for Romney is in your best interest. I know many of you would rather go down in flames with smug principle than be flexible in your strategy. It has taken more than a century. Think about this. It has taken more than a century of constitutional departure to get us where we are at. And some of you guys think you're going to turn it around on a dime. Let me tell you something. It ain't going to happen. It's going to be a slow turn back. The country is not even going to be ready to cut government because there's been so weakened by this dependency and this security blanket of government. Now, I want to hear what you guys have to say. But one thing I'm not going to allow is I'm not going to allow anyone to use the vacuous line of a vote for the lesser of two evils is still a vote for evil. This is stupid, mindless drivel. And it suggests you have no real grasp of history and what an evil leader really is. So don't even say it, or I'll just remove it. I promise you. If I want a bumper sticker arguments, I'll hang out in the Obama room. Okay, so if you've got something intelligent to say, a point, you can disagree 100%. So if I'm wrong, tell me. If voting for Gary Johnson is going to further your cause, explain to me how that can be. I invite your comments, and I invite you to subscribe. This is the Bellicose Nation.